Welcome to Value Raters Class Act. We've been missing for a couple of weeks, but we are going to look back on races at Newbury and also at Cheltenham. We're also speaking to Richard Farquhar a bit later on, who is walking across all the racecourses, mainland Britain, and we'll find out exactly the calls behind that. But good evening, Matt. Long time no see.
Yeah, it does feel like a long time. I know it's been only a couple of weeks, and we are going to be speaking about Cheltenham. And doesn't that seem, obviously, you know, such a fast-moving game, isn't it, racing that? As soon as something happens, you know, we're thinking on to probably now the National now. But we are going to look back at and the Cheltenham, and what a great Cheltenham we had.
Absolutely, and it's amazing to think it was actually 2 weeks ago.
I know.
It started today.
Yeah.
Right, okay, we have had a few questions, not as many as normal because obviously been away for a couple of weeks, but we are back at the regular time of 6 o'clock every Tuesday. So these are mainly tweets actually that have come through this week. Bronson says, Matt, what do you think of the chances of McCoy winning the National this year on Shut the Front Door?
Well, probably won't be very popular for my answer here, but I think absolutely no chance. Shut the Front Door, an 8-year-old, is fairly likely raced. 6 chases, wins to his name. 6 chases, but he's won 3 of those chases, including the Irish Grand National, which is obviously gives a good indication to stamina that is required for the Grand National. But I just think his overall inexperience concerns me, and also that Irish National race. They were all in a bunch together, 3 fences from home, and he looks ever so slow to me, and I'm not quite sure about his handicap mark. And interestingly enough, I do write for the Racing Ahead magazine, and in this month's edition that is out now, I actually give a good, strong selection for this. So do go and get that. I speak about that particular horse and also give my own fancy for the race.
Okay, well, the Grand National is going to be a very difficult race to dissect. It's a race actually I'd never bet on. But you get everyone say, oh, what do you fancy in the National? And it's like, well, get a pen and just pick what you fancy. Yeah. It's basically like that. Okay, James Watts, do you feel Henderson knew Sprinter Sacre wasn't up to a huge run in the Queen Mother? Said he scoped badly afterwards, and James actually says that he's suspect.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could agree with being suspect. I mean, we all knew Sprinter Sacre had a big setback, and you know, I think we discussed it on the show many a times that he hasn't been back to his best, and you know, it was sad to see, but it was kind of predictable to me that I just had this feeling that he probably would be ultimately pulled up, and we will be covering the Cheltenham races, so do stay tuned because we will be talking in reflection of that horse.
Okay, right. Thank you very much indeed for those tweets. We're going to look back at Newbury on Saturday, 1 or 2 juveniles, certainly a terrific mares race that took place as well. But one you wanted to talk about first of all was in the novice hurdle. Gary Moore trained, I hope I get this right, Perisque de Poix.
Yeah,
is that as best as I can do?
Yeah. No, I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, someone's bound to have a comment on YouTube. But
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it was at Newbury. I mean, this was a real interesting card at Newbury. Normally after Cheltenham, we have that kind of feeling that it's a little bit like the calm after the storm, but not at all. I'm going to highlight some races. This was the first one. The winner disappointed at Chepstow on the 5th of November when it going off 4-1. Had the tongue tie on Saturday. Had a wind up reported by his trainer afterwards. This was very impressive for me. Really stylish. Took it up, beating King's Tempest 6 lengths. Now, if you look back through King's Tempest form, he was second to Jolly Allen at Exeter, and Hassel, the well-backed 6-5 favourite, was 11 lengths back in third. I think Hassel's run his race. He was 4th to Cardinal Water round at Doncaster. And make no mistake, from a rating point of view, I've got this rated into the 100, well into the 100 and late 140s, 150s. For the winner of Gary Moore, and sign of a victory. Won this race last year, and it was what I liked about the race more is a real reasonable pace, and going forward I think this would turn out next year, or not even next year, maybe these horses might turn up at the Aintree Festival, but real strong novice hurdle form there at Newbury.
And a big size horse as well will go chasing that. Cologne was the winner of the EBF and TBA Mares final. I mean, I backed Hannah's Princess, who coming to the last actually looked like a winner. I must say, actually, there's going to be plenty of winners come from this race because you had Spartan Angel back in third. It was a terrific race. And the fact is those 2 went clear, didn't they? And then it was a very good race, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I had a good look at this in the week, and it looked really, you know, really competitive. And it must be said that as time goes on, these mares, you know, the quality of them this year, we've seen it with the OMLG mares we had, and also the EBF and TBA mares. I mean, going into it, I thought, blimey, we've got a lot of well-handicapped horses. This, of course, is on better ground at the weekend. That's worth pointing out. We had good ground at Newbury. A lot of these horses, I thought, going into the race, well, these might just improve for that, but the winner looked really good, running off a mark of 120, allocated the horse a mark of 141. Hannah's Princess in second. Bit hard to gauge Hannah's Princess, a 14-length winner, looking impressive at Doncaster. We know more about her now. But basically, yeah, this form, whether it's going to be up to last year's standard, I'm not quite sure. When you think in last year's we had the Pirates Queen, obviously finished place.
I'm not so sure. I think this race is pretty good.
Just at the moment, just at the moment, from a figure point of view, it's got a little bit.
And what you're saying is, Matt, from a form point of view, you can't really make that judgment until a few horses in behind the winner have had runs.
Yeah.
Because if they go on to win, you can go, right, this is one of the races where you really need to pinpoint.
Yeah, this is, you know, and also this has been run on completely different ground to a lot of horses, and you know, and to gauge horses on this, I think we've got a better idea. But considering how competitive it looked on paper beforehand, the fact that the winners won 3 1/4 lengths and a further 3 1/4 lengths back to the third, with Tara missed in fourth, suggests to me that this, and I say the mares this year, and it's really nice to see that we've got a good crop coming through.
Okay. Alzimar was the winner of the race, which saw a few horses make the handicap marks, and Stormfall's 10 was one of those. I mean, obviously, if you take the form literally, repeat and code on if you can, it does give some prominence to a race, which again should give us some future winners. What do you think of the form of the Grey Tricks winner?
Yeah, I think this is, again, real strong form. Stormforce 10 of Andrew Bolden, you know, went off 2-1 favourite. I believe it was 9-2 early doors. I mean, you know, that's not just Saturday money. When you're talking about the Boldens, they're well known to have a bet. They clearly felt the horse was seriously well handicapped, and I think he's run its race. He's been beaten 11 1/4 lengths back in third. I just think there's a lot of plot horses in here, a lot of horses that perhaps just didn't quite make the Fred Winter, you know, come in here. The winner, really a strong stead, you know, wasn't it, on its day? This was a step up to 2 mile free. Had a handicap mark of 117. I had it performing up to 145. I think this is seriously good form. Second horse, Tom George, it was £4 out the handicap, and he just had no answer to the winner, who stayed on strongly. And I say Stormforce 10, I think, you know, for this piece of form, follow him right forward. I think the first 4 home, even though the fourth horse, Rockefeller, who was actually beaten 7 1/4 length. If you remember, we had an email before about Rockefeller, and I was saying that the horse was 130. This just again went to show you need an awful lot in hand with these, you know, these handicaps, and it just goes to show that for me, the official handicapper has a long way to go, and this is what I like, to try and find that value.
Okay, right, okay, we are going to go to a break very soon. We're going to give it 1 more minute, because there's one more horse that you wanted to mention. Actually, it wasn't televised, it was much later on in the day, it was 4:55. Owen Neveu, this was a Fergal O'Brien chase. Looked very smart indeed, was 4 months off the course, but you was impressed.
Oh, absolutely. It travelled like an absolute dream. As soon as the tapes went back, he just filled your eye completely. Travelled, jumped for fun. Going into the race, again, well-backed favourite in Village Vic of Philip Hobbs. And let's not forget Village Vic. I mean, he's been frustrating over hurdles in his time, but on his best form was second to the new one on his first start at Chelmsford. Not to say that he's reaching those heights, but Village Vic, don't be thinking Village Vic hasn't run his race. He was a winner going into this previously from a Newbury race. Owen Neveu, I can't quite get at it from a handicap point of view, which frustrates me a little bit for various reasons, but follow the horse next time, because he's sure to follow up.
And it's interesting, it's got an entry, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got entry.
26th of March at Newbury.
It's got an entry at Newbury and Ascot.
Yeah.
And wherever he goes, I mean, look, he's probably not going to be. I guess if you've missed the 8-1 that day, and he was well back to 8-1 from outside. I'm not sure where the form come from. He disappointed. He pulled up. Maybe a sign of better ground. And do look out for that. Now we're just turning. The weather's turning. Better ground. Go back and look for those horses that might have disappointed on soft ground but need this service engine. Sometimes you can find some real nice value.
And the funny thing is, he says about missed it first time 8-1, well, he missed Call the Cops twice.
Oh.
But we won't talk about that. We're not even going to be talking about Call the Cops at Cheltenham. But anyway, we are going to be talking about the Champion Hurdle, Champion Chase, World Hurdle and the Gold Cup. We're going to look back at that, dissect the form and see what this guy has to say about Haine. He says it's not a machine. We'll see you after this.